What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today I have kind of a makeup video to put out today due to the fact that I was scheduled to be on a YouTube channel, the Talking Movies with Sean, Kenny, and Jim last night, but I had to cancel due to some unfortunate family events. By the way, bonus points, as you can see or hear, I also have a cold. It's great having a cold in 90-degree weather, but I did get to listen to the program this morning. Unfortunately, I did have to do some traveling yesterday upon hearing some bad news. So I appreciate all the well wishes that were sent to me. So I thought I would just do like a makeup video. And also, I've had the benefit of watching their show. So a couple of my picks that they mentioned are now going to be honorable mentions. Let's start with a couple of those. Anytime I get to champion this movie, I used to have the poster up in the background. I do, and Kenny mentioned it last night and even showed a couple clips from it. The Monster That Challenged the World. It's on one of these Midnight Movies double features. It really is a pretty solid movie with some pretty decent effects. And, it's got these front-facing eyeballs, one of which gets punctured. It really kind of creeped me out when I was a kid. And, there's some effects are better than others, but it's a pretty decent story. Interesting setting in the Salton Sea. And, I love it. It's pretty solid. And then Jim mentioned, I think he mentioned this as one of his his honorable mentions, but I just watched this again recently. Yeah, fond memories of this from my teenage years. Razorback, Russell Mulcahy's giant boar on the loose in the Australian outback movie with Gregory Harrison and a lot of character actors that you would see in movies like The Road Warrior and Gallipoli. Really solid Australian cast in addition to Gregory Harrison, but kind of flashily made, with some of the lighting and the effects and everything, and most of the giant boar effects hold up pretty good. It's just a pretty solid old school creature feature. So now here's my top 5, okay? And I am going to go back to one of these midnight movie collections. And by the way, I limited this to films that I actually own. I wrote down a bunch of titles based on what the fellas came up with on their show last night, but I wanted to limit my list to films that I actually own. So I'm going to go with this is a great sort of creature feature from my youth, The Land That Time Forgot. It's on this double feature with the sequel, The People That Time Forgot, both of which star Doug McClure. He has more of a supporting role in the second film, but this is one of those classic sort of Doug McClure Lost World movies from the 70s with, let's face it, not the greatest effects. When the pterodactyls attack the biplane, I'm not sure why they didn't just deploy the giant scissors to cut the strings, but I really like these movies. Both of them really, especially the first one, based on works of Edgar Rice Burroughs. Just tons of fun. So, The Land That Time Forgot. And next, we're going for a made-for-TV movie. I'm going to have to throw a picture up here of the makeup job, because as you'll see here, I have a deluxe DVD edition of Gargoyles. That's what you get. No pictures whatsoever. A decent case, I guess, but other than that, this is a classic made-for-TV movie. But 74 minutes, so it was in a 90-minute time slot on TV, starring Cornel Wilde, Jennifer Salt, and a very young Scott Glenn has a small role. Bernie Casey is in one of the gargoyle suits, although they have a different voice actor for the voice. Just great 70s feel, kind of a great, like Route 66 feel to it, the back roads and sideshow, combination gas station and sideshow attraction areas that you would stop in back then. All the while, the father, who was an archaeologist, is exploring the legend of gargoyles, and doesn't waste any time. Pretty much right away, a shadow flies over the car, and they're like, "What was that?" Well, they find out real soon. Really fun movie. They don't make them like that anymore. Number 3 is a film directed by the legendary effects master Stan Winston himself, starring Lance Henriksen. We're going to go with Pumpkinhead. If you haven't seen this or haven't seen this in a while, you got to check this out. This is the collector's edition of Pumpkinhead. Just a gnarly monster. And there's an old witch who helps Scott Glenn Lance Henriksen resurrect the legend of Pumpkinhead to avenge his dead son. And it's got that kind of a plot line, that kind of a feel. Lots of backwoods scenes. There's some backwoods type families involved in this. It's just kind of an old school revenge tale with a creature the likes of which you've never really seen before. I mean, this thing is like huge and scary, and it's just an awesome flick. Pumpkinhead. Next, we're going to go with a strange one. I did ask Sean leading up to the show if I could throw in a vampire or a werewolf if it wasn't, like a Dracula film, Hammer film, or a Universal film. And he said sure, but I decided to limit myself to just the one. So this is going to be definitely sort of off the beaten track. John Carradine, Chuck Courtney, Melinda Plowman, Billy the Kid versus Dracula. There's John Carradine on the back. Title pretty much explains it all. This was one of two movies made by William Bodine that combined horror and the Old West. The other one was Frankenstein meets Jesse James's daughter, I believe. I have that one as well. It was almost a toss-up, this one or that one. Because in both cases, they're just better than you think they could possibly be, while still having that, of course, B-movie feel. So Billy the Kid versus Dracula. And then I do have a Ray Harryhausen film here. Now, I mean, his effects were top-notch. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, and certainly some of his movies, to me, or anyway, wouldn't even qualify because they're A movies. And whereas some of the Roger Corman movies, you just got a glimpse of the monster because that's all they could afford, and he filled in the rest with a lot of talking and plot points and things. This isn't everything but the kitchen sink kind of a movie. They took a Jules Verne story, The Mysterious Island, okay, which frankly is not the most exciting story that he ever wrote, and just kept a little bit about, there's a part about some pirates that they have to avoid. Other than that, they just let Harryhausen have at it with an array of giant creatures. Like whatever you have left over in your box of tricks as far as giant creatures, just throw them in this movie. So after there's a balloon escape, hot air balloon escape from a Confederate prison camp in the Civil War. They end up on this mysterious island, and they're attacked by a variety of creatures, including giant crabs, giant baby terror birds, giant bees, all kinds of things. And then who shows up? Captain Nemo shows up about halfway through the movie, played by Herbert Lom. So there's some really good people in this. Herbert Lom, Michael Craig. This is directed by Cy Enfield. Joan Greenwood is in this. And it's also got, I believe, a Bernard Herrmann score, which is top notch. So in many ways, this one is almost more of an A movie, really. But, it's just that kitchen sink approach, kind of makes this one, I guess, a B movie. Most people would consider it that, but I have such an appreciation for 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and also Ray Harryhausen that it's just always been one of my favorites. But so at the end, they have to repair the broken Nautilus with a pretty ingenious, clever way of doing that and try to escape the island before a volcano erupts. Yeah, it's also got a volcano involved. So just all kinds of crazy stuff. This is just tons of fun. This will be a great gateway creature feature for younger people, especially if they were familiar with 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So there you go, guys. There's my top 5. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you go back and check out the Talking Movies with Sean, Kenny, and Jim episode on YouTube, and I'll probably show up on there in the not too distant future to yap away about these types of movies again anyway. And I appreciate everyone who has helped me achieve the goal of 1,000 subscribers and all the well wishes. And tomorrow night I will be making my regularly or pre-scheduled appearance on Grande's Graveyard channel to discuss Trilogy of Terror and Trilogy of Terror 2 with Grande and also with Fever Dreamland Theater. So check out the Grande's Graveyard channel tomorrow, Thursday night, for that. Okay, thanks. Later.